Hey yo, what it do? It's your boy Rue, and welcome to Reality Heavy Rotation Features. And today I have a very special artist with me. I'm super excited for this interview that we're about to dive into. Give it up for Miss Yelena. Did I say
Thank you.
correctly?
Yeah, yes, you did. You did. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's dive right
Yes.
into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what kind of music you do.
Yeah. So, my name is Yelena. I am a Latin R&B soul artist. I am based in Boston. I'm originally, well, I moved everywhere, so I can't say I'm originally from here. I mean, I was born in Boston, but I moved everywhere. I lived in Lawrence for like a year. Lived in Florida for about 8 to 9 years.
So
So yeah.
tropical weather.
So I've moved everywhere, and currently right now I'm living in Brockton. Yeah, but I am Cuban and Dominican. So
Spicy.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
love that. I wanted to mention that you are the Latin R&B Artist of the
Yeah,
Year.
Latin Artist of the Year.
Latin
Yes.
R&B Artist of the Year, y'all, in Boston, Massachusetts, at the Boston
Yes.
Music Awards.
Yes.
That's a big accomplishment that we'll
Thank
dive
you.
into. Let's dial it back and let's talk a little bit about where it all began. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
your story from when you were younger. How did you get into music? How did you decide that this was something that you wanted to pursue? What
Yeah.
was that like from elementary school and up?
Yeah. So at the age of 7 was pretty much when everything started. And it started when one day my dad, brought home a nice movie for me to watch. And that movie turned out to be the Selena movie. So yeah.
You're Latina.
Yeah. So
We got that part.
like it is what it is. If you're Latina or Latino and you have never watched Selena, I don't know what happened to
You
you.
cannot check off your cultural report card. Like, it just...
I like that culture report
Yeah,
card.
we're going to take that card right back. Tú no vienes para el quinceañero if you have not seen Selena, okay?
You're getting an F. But anyways, yeah, but my dad brought the movie home, and obviously I was very young. Like, I wasn't alive obviously when she unfortunately passed away, or not passed, but unfortunately died. And I didn't know who she was. So I was watching the movie. I'm like, oh my God, like, who's this girl? Like, she's so beautiful. I love her music. Like, I want to just be just like her. And then from there, that's when I started to really like grow into loving music. It was pretty much because of her. So I would listen to her music. I would start listening to like other artists at the time too when I was young, like Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Kelly Clarkson. And then from there, as I would listen to their music, I would sing along to it. And then that was when I kind of realized, like, oh, like, we know how to sing. But I didn't
We
know.
got a little something here.
Exactly. But I didn't know that I knew how to sing until other people recognized it. But unfortunately, at that age and growing up, I was very shy about it. I had kind of like stage fright. And
That's a lot of us do.
yeah, so like, and I realized that too when I like tried to be a part of like a talent show that my school had, and that was horrible.
What school was that? Shout them out.
So, oh my God, do I remember? It was in Florida. I'm sorry. I don't remember it. This is what happens when you moved around a lot. So sometimes you don't remember some of the schools you went to.
Well,
Blame it on my parents.
Florida be
But-
Floridian, so I think they'll be fine. Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. But like, probably was Ventura Elementary School. But anyways, yeah. So I tried out for the talent show and I literally bombed it. Like, I could not sing.
What song did you do?
Me and a classmate of mine, we were gonna he was gonna play the piano and I was gonna sing the national anthem.
Okay.
So, and that's obviously like a very hard song to perform, but I was gonna sing that and I just couldn't.
Did you rehearse?
We rehearsed, yeah. So like
Oh my God,
that,
wow.
yeah, that was the worst too. Like, we rehearsed it so many times. I would always go over to his house. And like, he felt good about it. I felt good about it. But that day, my nerves just kind of took control over me and nothing came out. And I remember that day, I literally went home, told myself, looked at the mirror, and I was like, we are never doing this again.
Period.
And then after that day, never did it again until I was 15, my freshman year of
then
high
you did it
school.
again?
I did it again, and I didn't vomit. That day was...
So
Yeah.
you didn't do it again.
Yeah.
You auditioned and you actually proved to your younger self that you were going to do it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
I
love
did.
that.
Yeah.
What song did you sing then?
Set Fire to the Rain by Adele.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was really
Okay,
into...
yeah.
Yeah, I was really into Adele.
That's funny. Before you got here, we were listening to Adele.
Really? Oh, look at that.
And I actually recorded myself singing Adele.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
You know.
Period.
Voice over here. No, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. So, freshman year, my like chorus teacher, he did this thing every year where he would have like this like huge event happen at school. Well, I don't want to say huge, but it was like a school event, and he let students like perform their own thing, whether it was like play an instrument or like sing. So I signed up, knowing that we didn't know how it was going to turn out. I practiced for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And the day of the show, I actually like it went great. Like it was amazing. And that day was when I pretty much realized that I really wanted to do, to sing.
Music.
Yeah, music. Like I want to perform for my whole entire life.
What was the crowd's reaction like?
Oh, the crowd, they couldn't like it was majority like parents and obviously like classmates, and like other kids, but they couldn't stop like talking about that day since it happened. So yeah, like a lot of people would always ask me like, when are you gonna sing again? So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
What was it like after high school or during high school? Actually, we haven't gone into your high school years.
Well, during high school, I still was tapping into my creative side. I didn't really I did kind of talent shows like here and there when I got the chance to, but unfortunately, my parents, they didn't really know too much about like music. Well, not music, but like, I would say like how to start off. Yeah, music business. And at that time too, I actually was also heavily like doing modeling. So I was signed to like a modeling agency back then. They were called John Casablancas.
Oh, okay.
If you know, you know.
I know.
And if you know, you know. And so
no, but we know.
So yeah, so I was like, I was trying my best to kind of sing as much as I could. I also was part of Boston Children Chorus from like middle school up until like my senior year of high school. And so, I was active, I would say, but the only thing was missing that I really wasn't getting the performance experience as much as I could, like as a solo artist. But I try to sing as much as, here and there, like I said, talent shows or any events I knew of. And then my parents tried to get me to sing at the church, but that like never worked out. So, but they were kind of supportive, but at the end of the day, they didn't really want me to pursue it as a music career up until I graduated college. And then when I graduated college,
it was like, you got this paper, you got this degree.
Exactly.
Now go do whatever you choose.
Exactly. And that's what I told myself. When I went to college, I was like, once we graduate, we are literally going after our dream. Like we did what we had to do, and we're going after our dream. And ever since then, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful too that my parents now are really open to it, and they're very supportive of it. They know that it's not easy, and like, they want my best, but like, I can see sometimes that, my mom will like not kind of be scared of it. Like, oh, tú sabes como los artistas son, a veces ellos pasan por esto y el otro. And I'm like, Mom, like everyone has their own journey. And like, there's artists that I follow that actually that are still having a successful career, There may have been some money issues involved, but like, it is what it is, but so.
And I feel like we have so many resources now, and I think a lot of indie artists are definitely well aware of that factor, because I feel like back then in the 90s, when our parents were growing up and they were seeing artists going broke and having all of their issues, a lot of these artists weren't aware of the resources they had. And a lot of industry record labels actually were not like letting artists know, like, hey, you need a therapist, like you need to go to a financial coach. They were just like, as long as we're getting paid, whatever you're deciding to do, we don't care.
We don't really care,
getting paid. So I think the times are different. So
I think
Mom
so too.
and Dad, if you're listening, she's got it, okay? Ella está bien.
I do.
Let's talk about your first single. What was that like? What was the title? What was that like? How did you feel recording that and putting that together and releasing it?
Yeah, so my first single was titled On My Own. I released that January 2020. And the idea behind it, honestly, I was thinking a lot about some of the things I kind of went through prior to like, working on that song. Like I've dealt with certain situations that kind of always made me feel like I was on my own. Like I never really had someone that I could really depend on. Cause I always felt that way. I don't know if it's an Aquarius thing, but
are you an only child?
I am. Yeah. I did grow up as an only child.
Coming from that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it could be coming from that. I'll talk to my therapist about it. But anyways, so yeah, like I always feel all the time like, you know, not all the time, but before in the past, I always felt like I'm always on my own and always kind of like having to do things, you know, kind of rely on myself type of thing. And so that's kind of where the concept of the song came about. But it also, I kind of mixed in two of a relationship situation that I dealt with that also kind of really made me feel that way. And like when you're in a relationship with someone, you shouldn't feel like you're on your own. You shouldn't feel like you have to rely on yourself. You should always feel like you can rely on your partner. So yeah, so like that's kind of how like the song came about. And a lot of people gave me great feedback. There's people till this day, even my closest friends, who always tell me like, oh, I love that song. And me personally, I love that song too. But yeah.
Was there a visual for that?
No, there was not. I was going to plan to do one, but then the pandemic happened and everything changed. So, but till this day, maybe I will. Who knows? I don't know. I feel like it's not too late, but.
And are there any albums under your belt that have been released?
As of right now, no. All the songs I released are singles, but I'm actually working on my first EP.
Love it.
So will probably come out this fall. Praying for it.
Love it.
But or not probably, it will. But yeah.
Speaking into manifestation.
Yes. So it'll be coming out this fall, and then next year I'm thinking about maybe also working on another EP or album. But we'll see. I want to give myself kind of creative time, if that makes sense. So
I want to dive into a little bit about your songwriting.
Yeah.
So like, when did that start? When did you know that you had that power to be able to compose a song and know what that was like?
I would say when I first recognized that I could sing, so like age 7. I remember the first song I wrote was about
I love hearing this.
Yes. The first song that I wrote was titled I Cannot.
My life. I cannot.
I don't know what an 8-year-old is. Oh yeah, but no, the song was pretty much about a guy or kid who. But anyways, but yeah, no, I think I feel I get where you're coming from.
All right, you got it.
Yeah.
You're recording. All right, let me ask my question. Sorry, y'all, we got disconnected right there, but let's dive right back into it. You were telling us about your first song that you wrote.
Yes, so the first song I wrote, it was titled I Cannot, at 7 years old. No, 8 years old. And the song was pretty much about me having a crush on a guy.
And you cannot.
And I could not stand having a crush on him.
Oh wow!
I'm an Aquarius, so
perspective for a 7.
Yeah, I was like 7, 8 years old. I was like in the, what was it, 2nd grade, 3rd grade?
Oh,
no, 3rd
wow.
grade. Yeah. I don't know what 3rd grade is. You know.
I had a crush and everything. I was focused.
Not me. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Aquarian child, like, what can you expect? But yeah, the song, like, I pretty much just wrote about how I liked this boy and how I really could not, like, stand liking him. I didn't like the feeling, but I also didn't like the fact of seeing him with someone else. So that was my first, that was my first song.
I love that. I actually really, now that the cameras came back on, I really enjoyed our conversation off camera. So I want to touch a little bit on stuff, if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
I definitely want to talk about, like, we were talking about if we visited the homeland.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you visiting Cuba and Dominican Republic? What was the difference that you noticed? Is there anything that you left with that you were inspired by?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start off with Dominican Republic. Mis Dominicanos, what's up? Que lo que. So, Dominican Republic, the very first time I visited, I was like a toddler. So obviously I don't really remember much just by the pictures, but, and then I would go there probably like mostly like every year. The last time I went was back in 2019. But yeah,
You
DR.
gotta go back home, baby.
I know, I do. It's just, sabe,
The prices went up.
They're crazy. Like, my
I try to book my
gosh.
trips like months in advance to PR.
Yeah, I
'Cause
try to.
if you wait,
Really, I thought PR was a little bit more like cheaper though. No,
if
because
you
people be
wait,
telling me.
sometimes you catch a good deal, but sometimes, especially if there's a holiday, like
Oh, makes
everyone's going to PR
sense.
for something.
Yeah,
You know
see,
what I
that's the
mean?
thing. Whenever I try to travel, especially like to like out of the country, it's like DR or wherever, I try to travel when there's like it's not like during holiday season because it's a little bit less expensive. But most of the time I've gone have been probably during holiday season or not. Depends. 'Cause I just whenever my mom wants to go, I was like, okay, we'll go. But yeah, but no, DR, my mom is from the capital, so she's from the city. So where she's from, I'm a city girl, so I do love like, the
The
area,
busyness.
yeah, the busyness of it. But when it comes to going to DR, what I don't like is the fact that I don't go to the beach as much,
You gotta go. Are you
because
going on a like? Are you going alone?
I would love to this time
Because if you
around.
went with
This time
family,
around, I would love to go alone.
that's
Or
why I stopped that. I went with family like twice, and like it was a dub. No shame. I
yeah,
love my family, but like I
yeah.
went last summer by myself for the third time,
Oh,
and was just like I'm on my own time. I'm doing
yeah,
my
yeah,
own thing. My
yeah.
family
Doing your
ended
own
up coming
thing.
down, but
Okay.
we met up. But
Yeah, yeah.
even still, it was already judged. I thought in a flow, and I was like, I'm on my own time, bro. I'm at the
Right,
beach.
right, right.
Where you
No,
at?
eso que yo quiero. As you should. No, that's what I want to do this time around because my cousins were all kind of like around the same age. And so, even I was talking to my aunt about it, like, she was like, tú necesitas venir, deja tu mamá en la Estados Unidos. Like, you don't have to, like, go with her. And I was like, I know, but you know how she be. Like, she's mad protective. But I do want to go by myself next time and just really explore more of DR. But I also am kind of like a history type of person.
Your
Like,
history buff.
yeah, so I really would like to next time I go to visit the house of like Las Hermanas Mariposas, like to know more about them.
Yep, yep.
Cause the last time I went, I remember me and my cousins we were at the beach, and my aunt and my mom were there too. And this guy like walked by us, and he was like, "Mira la hermana mariposas," and I'm like, what did he say? Like, is he trying to insult me? And my aunt was like, no. He's like, kind of like admiring your guys' beauty because you guys, you got, you reminded him of like the three
Oh, I love
sisters
that.
that Trujillo, killed. And I was like, oh, yo no sabía. I didn't know who they, I don't, because to be honest, I don't really to know like when it comes to learning about where your family's from, it's really good to know the history. And to be honest, growing up, I didn't really know much about the history, especially when it comes to Dominican Republic.
I think a
I
lot of
know,
us have that.
yeah, because you don't really think about it, and sometimes your
And we've
parents
been brainwashed with this American history.
exactly like fuck. No, let me not go there.
That's a different show.
Let me not go there. Let me not go there. But yeah, no, my yeah, I told myself all the time like I really need to learn more about Dominican, like history, and especially that part of history that I really like to know. So next time I go, I really would like to visit their house or like anything history related if I can, and obviously go to the beach. So that's the next thing. But DR is definitely beautiful. I love the people. The food is amazing, but for some reason, when it comes to like which part, like which country I like the most, when it comes to my parents, I go for Cuba because so I've been more to DR than Cuba. But whenever I've gone to Cuba, Cuba just feels like home to me. And what I really liked about Cuba is that once I go, no one has access to me because
They can't
it's
hit you up over there.
yeah, they can't. I'm sorry, but like it just feels so nice because like you're in a whole different world, and people always talk a lot about like, oh, why are the cars so old? But that's literally what makes
I
a
love
country
that.
the way that it is, and like the people are amazing, the food is great, the beaches are beautiful. Everything
You're
about
selling me.
yeah, everything about Cuba. And I didn't mention this. So my dad, he's from Santiago de Cuba, which is like on the other side of the island, a little bit close to Guantanamo Bay. And yeah, like I really love Cuba. Like I really love Santiago. Like I really feel at home, and and anything Cuban related. Whenever I hear someone talk about Cuba, I'm like, what did you say? And I wish I knew more Cubans.
Hey, there's a show on Netflix, One Day at a Time. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a
No.
sitcom, and they're a Cuban family, Cuban American
Oh,
family.
really?
So tune in. They have
No.
3 seasons, and Netflix canceled them.
Oh,
So, but they were really good. It's really funny and entertaining, and they go through a lot of the history
of Cuba.
in Cuba. So,
Okay. Yeah, no. Bet I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it because yeah, but yeah, so
let's dive into the Latin R&B Music Award.
mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did all of this come about?
Yeah, so Boston Music Awards, they so I learned at the time when I was nominated for Latin Artist of the Year. This was back in was last what was it? I found out like in October, I think, is when they released the nominations. Um I guess I when I like was learning more about I guess you could say Boston Music Awards or just the nomination in general. The last time they nominated someone for that award or someone won that award was back in the 90s.
Oh wow.
So it was really
I didn't even know the Boston Music Awards went back that long.
yeah, no, they've
Wow.
been,
I
doing their
performed at
thing.
one.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I backup danced
awesome.
for Chichi Piralta.
Oh,
That
okay.
was I hope there is no footage of that because when I tell you we had to learn the choreography like the day before, it was just like, okay.
Oh,
And they were just like,
wow.
just go up there and smile. I'm like, I can do that. I got that.
That's cute. But yeah, no, the very last time was like they nominated someone for Latin Artist of the Year was back in the 90s. So I felt very grateful, but I'm not gonna lie, and this is just me, like I do overthink a lot and I do doubt my gifts at times, and I know I really shouldn't because what I what God gave me is I should really be grateful for it, and I should obviously like I thank Him every single day for the talent that I have. But when I was told that I was nominated, like at the time, one of my friends who was kind of helping like manage me, she like I was working. And she like calls me and she texts me. She was like, "Congratulations," and I was like, "Congrats for what?" And she was like, "They nominated you." I'm like, "They nominated me for what?" And then she sends me the link, and then there it says nominations Latin Artist of the Year, Yelena Rodriguez, and I was like, "No, like, are you serious?" And so, but like, I kind of like, I don't know, like, I was shocked in a good way. But I also was kind of like, oh, but I haven't been doing this for long. Why was I nominated? And I know that's not a good way to think because, like, you should always, speak positivity.
Accept
You should always accept what is
what
given
comes
to
your
you.
way.
Exactly. And
So
receive.
it's not something that you have to submit for.
No,
It's something
they
that
have
they
a whole,
choose. Oh
they
wow.
have a whole
I
board.
love that though, because that means
Yeah,
that somebody was paying attention to you.
exactly.
And I think that like that's the best feeling.
Exactly. And
You
that's
know?
someone who was paying attention to me. I'm grateful for you. But it was, yeah, it was, I felt very happy, especially when, at that time when the nominations were released, I was kind of going through a lot, mental health wise. And so that definitely lifted up my spirits because at that time I was really in kind of like in a bad place where I sometimes like felt like I wanted to give up. So that, and I feel like whenever you have those moments, confirmation comes to you,
There
and
you
that
go.
was like a
Yep.
huge confirmation, that I needed, and I'm very, 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 very grateful for it. I would love to be nominated again, but also the bigger picture is to be nominated for it, on a grand scale, like the Grammys or Premio Nuestro or Latin Grammys or whatever it may be. So that's definitely what I'm
I
aiming
think
for.
it should speak to that goal because it's on its way up. So
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So that
love
was like
that.
the first step. But yeah, I'm very grateful. And in that night, the award show, it was very nice. It was very humbling. My family came with me. It was like the cherry on top. So
Love it.
yeah.
Let's talk about Diabla.
Yes,
Because I feel
Diabla.
like there's, I was listening to a little bit of your catalog,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I get to Diabla, it's like a whole different vibe from everything else. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
where is she taking this? Where is she taking her music? So,
Mm-hmm.
what was that process like? And
Yeah.
where are you taking your music for your EP?
So I'm like I would say me being a Latin artist or an artist in general, because to be honest, we don't like titles. But when it comes to obviously music, people are put into certain boxes, people are put into certain genres. So I always say to people, like, I'm a Latin R&B soul artist, because I know as my career goes on, I'll continue to do music that are kind of like R&B style, but also I'll do music that is a Latin style, whether it's like a salsa or even if I try something more like urban, urbano, pero yeah, so like Diabla, the reason why I started, I released a song like that is because I wanted to kind of do like an upbeat type of single. The very last time I did one was probably 20 Caribeña.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, let me release, something a little bit different than Caribeña. And then that's when Diabla came about. And when I was working on the song, I kind of was in this place of wanting to step more into my power. And I feel like Diablo really kind of showcases that. I mean, yes, the song is about a woman who's a seductress and, she'll steal your man. Not me, though. I'm very, very innocent.
Diabla.
I'm very innocent. But yeah, so like, that's kind of when the thought of the song came about. And I was just kind of, imagining this type of woman who just really does not care and who just, she's out here,
Right.
kind of like in her dark feminine. But yeah, and so I worked on the song. I was envisioning how I also wanted to do the music video, because I did a music video at Doña Havana, which thank you, amazing Cuban restaurant in Boston. If you don't know, now you know. And yeah, and like I like the song. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people now kind of call me that, and I'm like, hey, God is listening. Okay, it's just a song. Um, but yeah, no. Yeah, so
that.
yeah, but I feel like sound wise, I probably will continue to make more songs like Diabla, like instrumental wise, like sound wise, but I will probably like kind of go back and forth because the type of artist that I am, or singer, I would say, I'm very soulful. So anything that I write, anything that I release, it has meaning to it. Like Diablo, I would say is more so like commercial, right? Or even like Caribeña. But I feel like all of my songs, whether they're upbeat or they're not upbeat, I feel like all of them have meaning to them. And that's what I want when it comes to putting out music. Like I don't want to just put out music just cuz.
Yeah.
Like I want whatever I'm putting out into the world to have an impact. So yeah.
I love that. Love that. Is that what we're going to be getting from the EP?
Yes, so the EP is gonna definitely be. It has a R&B kind of soulful vibe to it. A little bit of Spanish, here and there. The EP though is kind of based it off. Not kind of. It is based it off of a experience that I had with someone, and so I pretty much just kind of put my feelings and thoughts and like what I've experienced into the EP. And so I really hope that people, can relate to what I'm talking about, to what I'm singing about, and that it's and that it will be a hit. So
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. Well, I want to thank you for your time.
Of course.
I feel like we touched a lot, and
Yeah.
I feel like your fan base can definitely get a little bit more familiar with you. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
super excited for what's coming for you, and can't wait to hear the EP.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, my name is Rue Zalez, and I'm blasting off, and I will see you guys next episode.
Yep. See you guys.